And welcome to the 7th installment of the Jonesin on a Whim podcast.
Shoot me.
We are back in full effect, all three of us here. Harold North.
Art.
And Stefan.
Oh, we're all back, so those Stefan lovers, you get your fix for the 7th installment.
You guys did great last week. Yes, I did listen. So
Hey.
That's good. I mean, he listens. He doesn't listen when he's on it. When he's not, he does. So hey, maybe it's a him problem. I don't know.
I don't want to pad our stats on YouTube. You know, you're like, oh, more people viewed us. And
Well,
this is just us.
That's fair. That's fair. But we have the website. It's through Facebook. Jonesin on a Whim. Go to the page if you haven't yet. Like it. As I've said before, we post some things that make these maybe make these podcasts a little more understandable, and we don't overpost, so it's not annoying. It's current event stuff, funny stuff.
They're just complimentary posts.
Right.
Not that we compliment people.
No, it's usually
No.
Well, sometimes I give a pat on the back. It's usually to us.
Yeah, yes.
But and we have the Twitter handles. I don't know if y'all do the Twitter, the tweeting. Mine is my name, capital H, capital N, at Twitter. Arts is
Jim O'Valley.
at the Twitter.
Keep making the jokes.
Yeah.
And I'm Stefan, not Steven.
So that's the Twitter information, and we are promising a real sponsor, but we called in another favor this week, and
And I can't believe he had time. But
and if he follows the page at all, you know, we're not a fan per se, but we kiss a little ass. got him to do it. You're right about the time. He still should be in the gym, even working for next year's, because he needs that second, third. But this is the new sponsor. We've got the ad. I'll just go ahead and play it for you. I won't tease it at all. We're just going to go right into it. Our sponsor for this week.
This is LeBron James of the Miami Heat. You know, the team I took my talents to not 1, but 2 years ago. And if you watch the NBA playoffs at all this season, you know that my eyes have never dry. For my excessive prying to officials, I always turn to Kleenex. It's always the best for drying my eyes from not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7, not 8 tears. Haha. Kleenex, the official eye napkin for LeBron James and Jonesin on a Whim.
There you have it, the chosen one, the king, all self-proclaimed. Gave us 39 seconds of his time, and Kleenex stepping forward to team with him is an obvious spokesman for them. But we'll get into that.
I can't believe Wade wouldn't do it, but whatever.
You're right, Wade, anyone for the Heat.
That's too natural.
Batty A's upset about not getting his call.
They're all at Disneyland. I guess.
Yeah,
Maybe. They probably didn't let Chalmers in. They didn't know who he was.
They're putting on like Mickey Mouse, costumes.
So
That's
they're
their
just
off-season job.
their regular outfits. So we'll talk about that in a bit, to my dismay. But as we always do, the first segment, other than the sponsor, is our mistakes from the previous week. We'll run through them really quickly. Brandon Jacobs, talked about him getting the $3.36 from that young man from New Jersey. And I couldn't remember where he played college football, and I see why. He had 3 stints at 3 different universities, starting at Coffeyville Community College, then on to Auburn briefly, and then he finished at Southern Illinois, where he had most of his stats compiled as far as a collegiate player. He said he was from Louisiana. He is. He's from Houma, and we didn't know what his contract was. We assumed it was fair, and it is. It's a 1-year deal worth about $1.6 million, and we were wondering how he would handle the situation with the child. He was in New Jersey, I think, doing some personal business, moving or something, getting his orders in check for his move to California. He paid a visit to the young child, 6 years old, I believe it was, and then went into the jump-on in bounce house for a day. Him and his brother with Jacobs, Cheeto Jacobs, and
Did Jacobs get in the bounce house?
I don't. That's really my biggest question.
He was all in that bounce house. You know that's not.
He was the bounce house. It just bounced off him.
Because if he jumped in a bounce house, either he deflates it or he launches all the kids.
Right. Then he becomes the house, and they just bounce off him.
Yeah.
But he also gave $5 to the child, recouping it for the $336, I believe it was, and also a signed Giants helmet, not 49ers helmet. So he did as we thought he would, and he's good. One of the better gentlemen in the league, just not at the dinner table. On to number 2, I mentioned David Stern having to be 70. Not quite. He turned 70 in September 22nd.
So close.
Yes, I had figured he had to be. This is a bad one for me. I credited Wolf Blitzer for being on Fox News. He's on CNN. And this baffled everybody, even listeners. The Sheik tweeted something about a Krusty Krab pizza in reference to Jose Canseco's sister. We thought it might have been a vaginal reference. It's not. It's a horrible song on SpongeBob SquarePants. And I posted that on the page in the middle of last week. So if you want to lose 3 minutes of your life, go click on that. It's absolutely horrible.
The Sheik getting obscure here.
Right. Well, I think he's got some some kids, and
Yeah.
That's scary.
to some degree, right.
I hope they don't read his tweets.
Right. That would not be. It's not very PG rated even.
No.
And the Harry Knowles website, I couldn't remember it. I bet if Stefan was here, he probably would have. It's an Austin guy.
Yeah.
Excuse me. It's ain'titcoolnews.com, but the actual URL, I think is what they call it, is actually just ain'titcool.com now. But I think if you put the full
Whole thing.
Ain't It Cool News, it would probably go. But it's a great website. They talk. He gets to view movies well in advance, and he gives a pretty fair assessment and rating to the movies.
Yeah.
He kind of has a point of view as someone in our age demographic would, I think. So it's a cool website. I couldn't remember the Darren Sproles nickname that I like. It's Super Smurf, and I can credit Jim Henderson for that. The great New Orleans sports, everything really. And the song from Dangerous Minds, the artist is Coolio. The song is Gangsta's Paradise.
Oh, I could have.
And he would have come up with that because of the Weird Al parody.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
I have both versions on the iPhone.
Right. They're both great. And Zebrahead was the movie with Michael Rappaport that I couldn't think of. And I thought it was directed by Spike Lee. Actually, Anthony Drazon is the director, not Lee or John Singleton, who we thought might have been the directors. We were struggling with LT's ranking on the rushing list. He's 5th all time with 13,684. He's behind Curtis Martin, Barry Sanders, Walter Payton, and Emmitt Smith, who are also all in the Hall of Fame. Curtis Martin goes in this August. And so he was 4,700 yards short. So,
yeah,
more than 2 seasons of his
Feels like
current.
a lot.
Right,
I mean,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, but Emmitt played for 20 years, so.
And Emmett also played in an era where
Rushing friendly, yes.
you had a number 1 running back, and that's who you rode.
You had 23 carries every game.
At least.
LT's
yes.
been sharing for how many years?
Right. No, yeah.
5 at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Turner was in San Diego before the other guys that were in San Diego now. And a quick follow-up on a story we did last week about the guy traveling across America to write a book, Kindness in America. He apparently didn't have much confidence in the book or the premise. It was said that he was shot. He shot himself for self-promotion of the book.
Horrible.
So,
So his motivations for writing a book about kindness in America kind of all just went down the toilet, I guess.
completely.
Yeah.
I mean, I think any outcome with this situation would have been poor. But the funny part of this is the guy who was arrested for shooting him allegedly. Well, obviously not at all now. Was drunk and he still had to serve time in prison because he was a repeat offender. So he still did jail time, and that's
Wrong place at the wrong time, I guess.
no. I mean, the wrongest place at the wrongest time ever, maybe.
What are the odds?
Drunk.
An ex-con runs
In
into a guy
Montana.
who wants to shoot himself in frame somewhere. Oh,
Right.
wow.
And you're drunk.
He's like, what?
Maybe he was a suspect that seemed, hey, it's a perfect guy.
Shit, I've been cut already?
Got it ready? So that wraps up the corrections from this week. Not too bad. Most of them are, like we said last week, had Stefan been here, most of these would have been hashed out during the show. So
maybe, yeah.
we'll be back down to 3 or 4 next week.
I think I can get you to 5.
Okay, that's we'll chop them. That works.
Put that in the
But
cut.
that had been our number for the last, since we've all got the computers in front of us now.
Yeah, that's right.
It'll be hard.
Which is basically cheating. But
Right, but we do in game.
Still.
You know, we don't want to
That's right.
put out false information for the 6 or 7 listeners. But moving on to the every week 51-second segment. Backstory on that: I credit the city that I'm from, New Orleans, Louisiana, as the 51st state. So each week we'll do a 51-second segment, and I think this week actually justifies 51 seconds. I'm sure most of you out there have tried the new Dorito taco. I sadly have not. I need to get on that. But if you were anticipating a Cool Ranch taco, it's coming. It's hit the streets already. They're trying it in 6 locations in Southern California.
Southern California always gets the test.
Well, I don't get that. We have Mexicans here too.
Yeah,
you know,
they're like a leading indicator for taste. What?
right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's like the healthiest.
Yeah, maybe they think we're not
State,
choosy
right?
enough.
I
They
mean,
think we'll just
It
eat
is
it
one of the
regardless.
healthiest states.
Right. It should be the South where we.
Texas, Mississippi, Arkansas
Right.
should be testing you.
Yes. I don't get it. But the ranch is coming, and also there's a Locos taco. It's not. That's not.
Well,
it's
that's
the
what they call
Flamas.
it, is the
It's the Locos, Doritos Locos, right? Overall,
right.
there's the Flamas, which is a spicy chili and lime shell. I guess like those. The Tostitos have the lime and
that's
chili.
infused in the chip,
right?
so you don't need dip.
Right,
Yeah.
which is nice. It's a little salty, but
Yeah.
you know, you add some meat, some cheese, some tomatoes, some sour cream goodness. I think I'm excited. I guess I haven't been excited enough to go get the regular shell, but I'm cleansing for the next 10 days. But after that, I wanted to do it before to cleanse because it kind of defeats the purpose.
Yes. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I might have
Fill
to
your colon with
right.
Doritos.
I might have to defer to you guys for
Oh, if it comes out in the next
try
couple
and
weeks,
get-
I'll definitely go for it.
giving us some feedback.
I'll do that for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Given the success that the original Doritos Locos Taco is having,
Oh, it's
I mean,
it's
what are they
record breaking,
waiting for?
right?
Yeah.
I mean, they ran out for a while, and they've 100 million in 3 months. They've sold.
jeez.
That's that's.
Yeah.
I'm upset with myself for not having gotten over to that yet.
That was all you.
No, right? If anybody,
Yeah.
it's embarrassing. But that concludes 51-second segments. The closest to 51, I think, we've gotten. It was
Maybe
like
so.
2-3 minutes.
Yeah.
Success. And as we do every week as well, I call it entertainment news. It's stuff that's entertaining to us. Stuff that's some of it's ridiculous, some of it's newsworthy, some of it's noteworthy. This one's ridiculous. A Detroit man, Ronald Page, seemingly had it made when Bank of America unintentionally changed his account status, allowing the 55-year-old man to make unlimited ATM cash overdraft withdrawals. So you'd think, withdraw as much as you can, maybe create a savings account in another bank, something. This guy went gambling. There was a loophole that he was able to get $1.5 million out of his account. Blew it all in a matter of hours at a casino. The Greekstown Casino in Detroit.
Slot machines are a harsh mistress.
And he had $300 in his checking account prior to that.
That's awesome.
He had his hands on $1.5 million. So what was his thought?
I'm going to win.
Let's go gamble.
2.5 million.
Wow,
This isn't enough money.
right. I mean,
I need to gamble.
someone with $300, $1.5 million
That
is.
should be enough.
But wow, the glitch reportedly occurred because Page originally had a banking account with LaSalle Bank, and when Bank of America acquired LaSalle, the glitch somehow occurred while the two banking institutions were transferring account information.
Oops.
15-month sentence in order to repay the funds. The U.S. Attorney's Office has suggested that Page be prohibited from gambling ever from here on out.
Geez, you think?
Well, but how is this guy going to repay this anyway?
Yeah, I'm wondering about that because, hey, I got a job, so I'm going to the casino.
Right. I mean, any money he's going to get, it's got to be a direct withdrawal back to this bank.
He sounds like he has a problem. Like, he'd get his paycheck and then turn around and bet his friend that there's going to be at least 3 pickles on this burger that he's getting at Burger King.
No doubt.
Gotta be.
It's more than a problem. But in lighter news, BCS finally considering a 14 playoff scenario, which I think we're most logical college football fans, meaning none from the Big Ten, are wanting this.
Because they won't be in the top 4.
Exactly, ever. So we're getting close. They're supposed to put a deal in front of some committee that will make the decision, and if it will go forward next week. This is supposed to happen. They spent the last 2 months negotiating the details, which would replace the existing BCS structure. Not, I guess, for 2014, so not this year's championship, but the next, or I'm guessing that's.
So what are they doing with everybody else?
As far as
you got the 14 playoff, right?
Right.
But you still have all these.
It'll be. It looks like they're leaning towards incorporating the semifinals into the existing BCS bowls. Your Fiesta, your Orange, your Rose, your Sugar, and then they're letting. I think what they're leaning towards is letting any city in America bid each year for the championship game.
Oh.
Kind of like the NFL does, but NFL limits it to teams with NFL franchises. This, I think, they're leaning any city can bid. So Houston could have. I mean, any city.
Well, that's cool because then I think it takes some of the power away from the bowls.
Right.
Because it's like the bowl system's been so entrenched, and that's really been the hurdle to getting a playoff in.
Right.
Is the amount of money they're making off of these. So if that's the case, then that makes sense to me.
Right. Me too. And of course, the SEC commissioners is lobbying for the top 4 teams, not conference champions, because just last year, 2 teams from his conference were 1 and 2, and most years they're 1 through. There's more than 1 in 1 through 4.
Oh, definitely.
So they would lose their revenue if it goes to just straight conference champions, and of course Big Ten, Pac-12, they're all lobbying for, and Big 12 are lobbying for giving some preferential treatment to teams who win their leagues. And fine, win your league, maybe you're in the top 4. There's your treatment. I don't know.
Yeah, but it's not automatic.
Right, and it's such a it's still voting, it's still computers, there's so many things factored in. It's hard to determine the top 2 teams. Last year was easy because it was pretty obvious. But certain years they've said, that they've been that team at 3, which had a vying chance at beating those teams that are first and second. So, but last year was obvious.
And like the BCS, this is probably going to be an evolving thing.
The 5th team's going to. Well, and the 5th team will be upset.
5th team's going to cry holy hell.
It's going to be right. It's going to be just like the basketball.
Then they're going to rethink it.
Right, and that's good. But at least this is a good step towards a change, and in the current system, which isn't horrible because they've been lucky. The teams have weeded themselves out along the way, but there have been a couple years where there's been an undefeated team at 3 that not only was undefeated but won their bowl game convincingly and was left out. So
yeah. My only issue with the playoff system has always been that, at least with the BCS, it's usually easier to differentiate number 2 from number 3 than to differentiate like 4 from 5 or 8 from 9.
And this will have incorporated those teams. So,
right. It'll make it a little bit muddy, but at least you have a little bit more of on the field determination for who's the best team. So anything that adds to that, I'm for.
Right.
Yeah, we've seen teams end up number 3 through no fault of their own, basically.
Yeah.
They're winning games, and these better teams are eliminating themselves before them,
or that they lost late.
And chances are, if you end up 5th, you've done something.
Yeah,
you've done something to deserve to be 5th, and you got a whole lot less to say than if you end up 3rd.
Well, I guess I surprisingly skipped our.
I can't believe
NBA
that.
playoff review.
Oh, really?
I'm sorry.
How did that happen?
Man, I was already, getting myself, ramped up on Crow, ready to come back here.
Right, yeah.
And no Crow on the table. What
Yeah,
happened?
you should be allowed to gloat because you call that. And I don't know how much of it you saw.
Let's see. I missed. Let's see. Last Sunday's game was that was game 3, and then I saw 4 and 5. And I'm not gloating. I mean, okay, yeah, I picked the Heat and the Heat won, but I'm still not convinced that the better team won. I think potentially the more ready team won.
The more ready team won.
The Heat have been here before, and they showed it. And, I think you might have some things to say about a certain OKC player. We've lost Harold to the soundboard.
Yeah, I think so. I think he's going all soundboard all the time.
Right.
I'll be decent and say if you average 30, 10, and 8, you probably played pretty doggone well.
It got a Kleenex deal out of it.
And you got a Kleenex deal out of it. So he deserves some credit. He played well. He did something that most people would say he should have been doing the last 4 or 5 years, which is if you got a guy 3 or 4 inches shorter than you, you should be backing him down. And you should be doing that.
Did you hear what Skip Bayless said about him? What took you so long?
Yeah. And what took him so long? But he got that together. He finished around the bucket.
Yeah, he delivered this year.
He delivered. He can shoot well enough to bring enough pressure if he has to shoot every now and then. His game is pretty complete now, so he deserves that credit.
Who the hell cares?
We're talking about LeBron, though.
We're talking about LeBron, so there's some bitterness, clearly.
The new Kleenex sponsor.
That's right.
The new spokesman, sorry.
But, okay, I've been positive long enough. Dwayne Wade, I'm done with that guy. I'm done with the crying. If Stern wants to stop the flopping, I feel like the crying and the flopping are on the same tree, and you got to cut down both branches. Because if you don't stop the crying, the flopping won't stop. You won't.
Yeah, they are kind of hand in hand.
So people flop because you don't listen to the crying. It's like, well, you didn't believe I got fouled, so let me act like I got shot out of a cannon. And so we'll see next year. And if they do stop flopping and they do away with crying, I don't know what's going to happen with James Harden. Maybe that. Because that guy...
not the beard.
The beard, that guy,
looks
man.
like Roseanne's vagina. I mean...
Yeah, if that guy... If he can't get calls, if he can't just run into people and throw his arms up and shoot 12 free throws a game, he was a joke.
Yeah.
He deserves a lot of blame.
But and you drug me in because I'll defend the beard because I love him. He wasn't missing shots poorly. They were in and out, and yeah, I'm not sure what happened to his overall game, but part of my theory of this series, and this is all I'll say, is the officials let him play for the most part, and that hurts the Thunder. The supreme free throw shooting team in this league, and it helped the Heat because they're bigger, they're stronger, they're not as successful from the line. They weren't getting fouled, but they'd get fouled, not called, but LeBron would just rebound his miss and put it back in. There were several putbacks by LeBron in this series, and I'm not crying about the officials at all. It was just the way that they approached the series benefited the Heat, and that's fine. You don't win a game in 5. You don't win a series in the finals in 5 games, and not have something going right for you. And
yeah,
I agree. Overall, they're probably not the better team, but they have the best player in the world, and that's all it takes. A lot of times,
when the best player in the world plays well and he does everything that he's capable of doing. I mean, once he started doing the, I'm going to post up till you do something about it, and then they had to collapse down, well, they got 3 or 4 guys on their team, and we joke about people only existing for one reason in the league. We do this for football all the time, too. Mike Miller can't run. All he can do is catch and shoot. And then
7 threes in game 5.
7 threes. Yeah.
So, game 5, let me just stand over here half crippled and when I catch it, I'm shooting. And if I can do this, this is my last game.
Could it be?
I can't believe they allowed it. I can't believe they allowed it. Because that's all he's capable of doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, you mentioned Miller, but we were talking offline at one point about LeBron's performance, and it's like, after the first 3 rounds, we looked at each other and said, we know he's getting 30 and 10 in this series, but that's not what's gonna make them win or lose.
Right. And then,
I mean, he needs help, and Bosch came back. Had a decent series.
15 boards in one game, didn't he?
Yeah,
not more.
He averaged
16.
he averaged 14 and 9 for the series.
And he averaged the champagne shower
we'll
at
cover
the
that.
end of.
I think that was more than one shower. That was like 7
Comfortable.
But
Sorry.
Battier had 15 threes in the series, averaged 11.6. Chalmers had one game with 25. Well, he had a big fourth quarter, so they got help.
Right.
Yeah.
And I counted on the minutes, loading up on these guys. But if you only have to play 5 games, it's 6 and 7 when it comes to pass, and they didn't get that far, and they didn't need to.
And as for the fouls, I mean, it felt like the disparity was bigger than this, but they called 112 on the Thunder and 98 on the Heat.
That's what I'm saying. I don't.
It wasn't massive.
It wasn't, and that's why I'm saying
And the Heat made their free throws. They made 82%.
which is unlike them.
The Thunder made 77%.
Which is unlike them.
Yeah.
That was the difference in the game, was the officiating, not the officiating as it played out, because they let them play, but it was the way the opportunities from the line that just weren't. Where the Thunder are normally 90%, they're like 80% as a team, which is unheard of.
And there were some ridiculous calls, most of them involving Harden trying to get to the basket and somebody leaping in front of him,
There was some
still going
questionable
to the side.
charges,
Yeah.
But Harden made his bed, and now he's laying in it.
Those didn't define the series.
Right.
It was just like, okay, what can go wrong now for Harden?
Yeah,
Right.
but I needed. I wanted him to adjust to that.
The Roseanne
because
Barr reference just screwed him.
maybe that's what it was. Because I
Threw him
wanted,
for a loop.
I wanted him to adjust. And he
Do
never,
it for me.
Yeah.
he never would adjust. He was like, "Oh, y'all aren't gonna call this flopping. I'm gonna keep on trying to flop. Oh, game's on the line. I'm defending out by the 3-point line. I'm gonna flop in isolation."
And it seemed like the ticky-tack fouls that they did call, Harden was involved. Like, they just were out
They had it out
to get
for
him because of the flopping.
Yeah.
Yes, but that's what you
Right, no, that's
create.
fine. Yeah, I agree. I'm not
when the
putting this on anybody.
Yeah, I'm putting it on Harden. That's who I'm putting it on.
I mean, anyone that wasn't involved.
Okay, yeah, because I'm
player.
putting it on him. He just should have played better, and I thought his game had more flexibility. I understood the flopping was a big part of his game, but bitter.
Don't hate on the beard.
Man.
Don't hate on the beard.
He has to play better. If he doesn't, he's
Well, no, then good. And they bring him back for $8 million a year, and
well, yeah. He lost money.
he certainly did.
He lost a lot of money.
He certainly did.
So his game has to be able to adjust.
The story
And he's
of it-
young and he got time. So
Well,
let's see.
And the beauty of this is to end this segment because it's brutal. Scotty Brooks, I'm not sure what his. You could maybe look it up. What his actual? They offered him a 3-year deal. I think near $4 million a year to extend his contract. His contract ends at the end of this month as the coach of the Thunder, and he wants 4 years, so he neglected to sign it. So the Thunder either started leaking rumors or actually made the phone call to Phil Jackson to be their next coach. Now Scotty's ready to talk. So that meeting will happen early this week. But it was close to $4 million, if not above $4 million, with his original offer. But he wants 4 years instead of 3, which is fine. But maybe we'll gauge Phil's interest. This is a championship ready team as any in the league right now. So maybe more so than the Heat a year later. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. I assume they'll work it out. He'll get his 4th year.
Yeah.
You would think so.
They're not going to let him walk, that easy.
Well, and because from my point of view is Phil might do 1-2 years. You can have Scotty for 15. I mean, Scotty's not 50. I mean, I don't think he's 45. I think he's 47, 48.
Yeah.
So he's primed to be your coach for years down the line.
He'll be 47
There you go.
at the end of July.
Okay.
31st.
End game.
There you go.
So, but That's all I have on that. I don't.
Yeah.
If y'all wanted to touch on anything else in the series,
Well, I'll do this. I'll leave the series alone since you don't want me to hate on Harden.
it's fine. No.
But,
It's not,
and I've hated on Wade. We've
you
already
can hate on the Heat all you want.
We've already talked about Chalmers being a waste of space, but again, he
had a game.
He managed to have a
With
game.
LeBron, I don't even want to talk about the fake injury. It wasn't fake; it's cramps. But
It's cramps.
Chalmers bailed him out.
Yep.
And again, it's not. It won't be his fault if they ever lose any of these games because averaging what he averaged is unworldly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
and the way
Kleenex deal. That's all I'm saying.
And the way he was getting those points was the way he should be.
Right at the rim. At the rim.
And it wasn't just head down, dribble twice, go to goal. It was post. It was moves. It was finishes. It was pump faking. Ibaka did what he could to
Crab
challenge
dribbling that they created for him.
at least he only did it like once or twice. If they allow you to do that, if I could do that at LA Fitness without people call, I'd do that every play.
And
you do that at LA Fitness, that's a travel.
No, right. I mean,
you do that out in the hood
they
somewhere.
trapped it real quick. It's a travel and a bloody nose. Because after the third step, you're getting elbowed in
it's
in
not
the face.
Yeah, you're not getting away with that. But he only did it like once, and I'm shocked. But
yeah.
the future for OKC. I mean, they're gonna try to add a couple guys that come off the bench to shoot.
I don't think they'll do anything. I think they'll go forward. They have everybody through at least next season. I don't think they do a damn thing but hit the gym and better their approach. And like I said before this series, that's why I don't think there was any pressure on them. Is they've improved every year. They've made it another round every year.
Yeah.
So the next step, there's only one more step.
Right.
It's that big fat ring on your finger. And they will be the favorites. I think they're going to come out on some kind of 20-2 start. And
I can see that. But
because everyone else in the West is old and crusty.
And losing people.
Right. And so,
It seems lined up for more so than the last time we had a team like this that you and I were rooting for.
But they were older.
They were a lot older.
Yes,
that's what I'm
a
saying.
lot
Like that
older.
team was a lot older in the main places.
Well, and
they had some stronger cheating forces
that was
against
the thing.
them.
That was the biggest problem with Shaq and Kobe in their prime cheating forces, and now
And now there's far less cheating forces because the Lakers just don't get as many calls as they used to. Like they stopped sending checks.
It was so bad.
They stopped handing out Laker girls. I don't know what happened, but they don't get nearly as many calls.
And the
as they used
Blazers
to.
we're like this too. Like we're referencing the Kings.
Yeah.
But the Blazers were that same team, and it's hard. It was hard to watch, but they cleaned a lot of that up. They let them play in the series. The officials didn't want to be the reason for any game's outcome, and for the most part, I'm fine with saying that they weren't.
Yeah,
Fine with saying that. Game 2 is questionable, and if the Thunder win that game, it might be a 4-game series, but you can't. Durant doesn't miss a 3-footer ever, no matter how much he's groped. So I'm not hanging my hat on that. That's just not how they would want it, and that's not how I would want it.
Yeah, and you don't want to hear this, but what Durant will do is instead of fading on that shot next year, he'll go to the goal like he's trying to tear it down.
But it was 3 seconds he had.
But he won't fade on that. And next time they'll either have to call a foul or he's making that shot.
Right.
So
well, the beauty of it was, I mean, he got fouled three or four times, but then Westbrook on the follow got fouled.
Yeah,
and then
that was a lot
Still,
of
we're not
fouling.
going to belabor that.
No.
No go.
But it's the last 5 seconds of a game when the officials are like, you know what? Unless I see blood, I'm not blowing my whistle. I'm swallowing my whistle.
Yep.
And that's happened before.
It has. I mean, and they're a resilient enough young group that they could have come back the next night and play well, and they did.
Yeah.
The biggest, but in that game too, don't be down 18-2 at home. You can't and expect. They were, like I said last week, they were lucky to have that opportunity at all.
Yeah.
And they did, and they made the best of it to an extent. The best of it would have been either Durant or Westbrook making those shots, regardless of the foul, because you're not getting that call.
No.
And LeBron, to his credit, knew they're not calling this,
So
and
he
did
voted
everything
him
he could.
Mm-hmm.
And if they do, fine. I'm still up 2. The only thing they could do is tie this game. I guess it was it 1. I guess
It
it
was
was
2. I think.
Yeah.
It was 2. I mean, that's why he had to go to the goal like he was trying to tear it down.
Right. And I love that call too. Get 2 and tie it, other than launching some 3 that,
Yeah.
Harden won't make.
Well, thanks. But Game 3 hurt more, and I just saw Game 3 again today.
Yeah, I've been watching it.
It really bothered me because that was the game where Spoelstra played that great closeout defense on Westbrook on that 3 towards the end of the game. I don't know if y'all remember. No, it was Westbrook. Like, it was a loose ball, and it came out.
He ran out of the court and yelled.
Spoelstra was like on the court, like, get over here.
Yeah,
he was the closest Miami Heat personnel.
Illegally on the court. Yeah,
like, he was all up on that court. Every time I see it, it's worse.
Yeah,
I
was right in his back pocket.
I thought I was making that up, but he was all up on the court.
Because I think John Barry, who was picked the Thunder the whole time, he pointed it out after the game. He's like, Spoelstra's look at the spot shadow of Spoelstra, like right behind him. Wide open 3. Not really.
And Westbrook was waiting.
You got Eddie Munster behind you screaming.
Yeah.
I might miss it too.
Yeah.
But again,
I mean the post-mortem, there was no finger pointing by the Thunder.
No,
he said.
No, that's
anybody out said
reason number 78 why I love this team.
Yeah, and I think I mean they're obviously good guys on that team, but I think they're taking a cue from Brooks too, because he doesn't pull that shit.
No, he got teed up once because I think it was Game 3 when his team was starting to blow that lead that they eventually completely blew. That he figured I need to do something.
Yeah, sometimes there are
fire them up, fire these guys up.
Well,
Phil Jackson did it all the time.
Well, he acted a fool about a bad call, and
I was acting a fool.
I don't believe that. And they reversed the call and were like, "Well, we still got to keep you with that tag."
No, exactly. Yeah, you were right, but you were right. You called my mother an astronaut. Thanks. Which I still think is a compliment. I don't understand what the knock is on that. There's like 8 astronauts in America, but
8.
I think we got a few more than that.
No, but it's a compliment. It's not really a dig. But moving on, if y'all are fine with that,
go ahead.
There's 20 more minutes, and I wanted to spend on it.
Go ahead.
Thunder in 012, I guess 013. Yeah, you're right. So now we're top 11 every week. College football chatter is ramping up. You got your magazines coming out with your preseason rankings. And we'll probably go through a lot of the 25. But LSU jumped up to 1 in most of them this week, so I figured no better time than to talk about it. So I think we'll probably start. I guess I gave away that. We could go 25 down. That might be the way to do it. Y'all obviously already know who number 1 is. Mm-hmm. And I went through most lists, and most of these preseason lists did have LSU now at 1 after Mettenberger's great spring practice. But 25, we'll start 25 countdown. So flip the pages. And I think this previous rank they're showing me, I don't know if it's in their poll. It's got to be in their poll, because I wanted to, if you
whose rankings are these? If
you could quickly pull up their rankings at the end of last season, we might know some of these, but just as a point of reference, it was a combination, I think, of ESPN and CNN SI. I like a couple of guys on there, and their 2 lists were pretty close on where they had teams. Okay. I'm not going to go to Huffington for this, or Bleacher Report. I might as well make my own. That's incredible. That do pull a lot of stuff on both those sites. Don't get me wrong, but they did a quarterback ranking recently that had me a little thrown. So I think it's from ESPN. It made the most sense to me, and it was close to, I think, Staples or Ivan Mizell on CNNSI. So we'll start from 25, moving to 1. 20, and we'll talk more when we get into the meat of the 11, since this is a top 11 list per se.
Cheetah
for the week. Georgia Tech at 25. They lost some players, but I don't have anything highlighted for them. 24, Nebraska. Virginia Tech at 23. And a quick note on them, they've won at least 10 games each of the past 8 seasons, which is the longest current streak. Wanted to bring that up. I'm not a fan of the Hokies, which a Hokie is a castrated turkey. That's the fun fact of the podcast.
Yep.
It's just Never been a fan. Oklahoma State coming at 22. They're going to go ahead with a true freshman, 18-year-old Wes Hunt to start. Wes Lunt. Thank you. The start quarterback. That's their starting quarterback, which explains their fall from grace. I believe starting at the end of last season, they were 4 or 5 at the end of the.
Yeah, they were way up there.
And they did lose to Stanford, right, in the bowl game.
Yeah.
Yeah, overtime. Great game.
Oh yeah.
So they're right up there. They have to replace Whedon. They're going to do that with an 18-year-old, and then Justin Blackman obviously gone to the bar. To the Jacksonville Jaguars. Hopefully stays out of the bar.
Or call the taxi service.
Right.
Jeez.
Call the NFL.
He vows to stop for now, so we've got that going for us. Or
Just
for
for
himself. He just
Maybe.
lost a couple million, but whatever.
Maybe Pac-Man's babysitter.
Do something. We've got the Huskies at 21 of the Washington variety. Florida Gators 20. I'm not sure how they'll. The East has been a bit weaker, but as I go along this list, you'll see they are, in fact, 2 better teams in the SEC East than they, with 2 better coaches than they have. And then Stefan's Texas Longhorns come in at 19.
Ranks, woohoo!
Still a quarterback conundrum there.
Yeah.
But they're many of them are really difficult. They're okay. They've added West Virginia and TCU to the conference. They get both of those at home, and those are will be 2 of their more difficult games. So they could make a move. They get the Fonzie back, right? The running back.
Oh.
Michael, I don't know what his actual name is.
Oh, Fozzie Whitaker? Wasn't he a senior?
Was he? Because I don't see him on there. So
Yeah, I think he was.
maybe they do. I love that guy. Great back. But they've got Joe Bergeron and Malcolm Brown. But they'll need them to stay healthy, as Fonzie could not. 18, Kansas State. Get that quarterback some help. Other than that, there'll be another. They won a lot of games last year. Just couldn't get it done against the higher echelon of the Big 12, which is middle echelon in the other conference. But that's for another day.
I'll let that go for now.
Right.
Yeah.
Ohio State Buckeyes at 17. 9 starters back on defense, and the biggest addition is Urban Meyer. So we'll see how his spread offense works with athletes from the Northeast. Clemson at 16. Taj Boyd back, quarterback, great player. But they need to try to put that 70-33 loss to West Virginia in the Orange Bowl behind them. I think they'll be able to, but we'll see. They have talent on that team. Wisconsin 15. Biggest loss is Russell Wilson, but the biggest return I think in college is Monty Ball at running back for them. So they'll be around the mix again. They're a regular 10-game winner, just as the Virginia Techs and such. TCU at 14. They returned a lot of players, but they also moved to the Big 12, so a slight upgrade in conference from the Big East or wherever they were before. Mountain West, I don't. The Big East for a year.
Briefly in the Big East.
Yes.
They even play any Big East games, or did they join it? And because usually it
may be
takes like
right.
a year or 2 to make that happen.
You may be right.
They were part of the conference in name only.
Right, and they have a 5-game stretch. That's pretty tough to close the season, given Big 12 talent. Oklahoma State on the road, West Virginia on the road, K-State at home, Texas on the road, and then OU at home. So we'll see. It's a nice addition. It was an obvious addition, I think, after A&M departed, which isn't on this list, by the way.
No, the Big 12 had to get a team
right,
back.
and that was perfect. I mean, they're up and coming, but they've been up and coming since Tomlinson was there over 15 years ago.
Yeah,
so.
about that.
13-year career. So I think he played 4 years there. Coming in at 13, and they would be higher, but the Arkansas Razorbacks, Petrino's departure will hurt them, but they do get Alabama and LSU at home, which were the only 2 teams that beat them last year. So they'll be it'll be interesting to see how they bounce back. They've got Tyler Wilson, he'll come and start the season behind Barkley as one of the top quarterbacks in college football. And then speaking of great quarterbacks in college football, Stanford comes in at 12 because of not only Andrew Luck's departure, but they lost David DeCastro, Kobe Fleener, Jonathan Martin. They were all selected in the first 2 rounds. So we'll see how they bounce back. And then we'll get into the meat of this. Our top 11. Michigan State
Really?
comes in at 11. Yeah, they've lost some players. Kirk Cousins, I thought, was sometimes better than he got credit for. I like Mark D'Antoni as their head coach. They do open the season against Boise State, but it's at home. That's an interesting game. Boise State lost some talent, so
Yeah.
they're not even on this list as well. So they're always an intriguing team, and in the Big Ten, you never know.
I guess not.
So, but move into the top 10 of this list. South Carolina Gamecocks. Steve Spurrier is slowly but surely moving this program into being not a powerhouse, but a formidable opponent every year. They won their first SEC East title in 2010 and then had their first 11-win season in 2011. Lattimore's back. He left pretty early. Not
Early last season.
was it early or mid? But enough that they still won 11, but they might have been able to vie for that East title over Georgia had he stayed. They lost to Georgia early in the season with Lattimore, and I believe was at least overtime. It was definitely a shootout. But they're a team to be accounted for. Garcia was the quarterback.
Yeah.
That he's gone.
Yeah.
But he was kicked off in the middle of the season last year. I think he's a talented player. He's just maybe a head case. So they can go forward with one guy, focus on him, approach the season with that one guy, and then give it to Lattimore 30 times a game, and their defense has been good for
can take it.
Right. That's true. He's a young fella, a bit of a toasty fella, but we'll talk more on that later in this podcast, next, whenever. But it will come up again. Number 9, Michigan Wolverines back in the spotlight per se, as I think the highest ranked Big Ten team on this list.
Looks like it.
And rightfully so to a point. I think they've returned a lot of their starters, namely Denard Robinson, who's probably for me the most electric player in the country, and then there it is, 13 other starters coming back, and Brady Hoke's done a great job there of reviving that program. Lloyd Carr should have never been let go, but that was their decision, and they brought in that douchebag from Rodriguez from West Virginia. But yeah, that was their call, not mine. And that's the setback that they brought on themselves. Interesting note for their season, they do open against Alabama in Arlington on September 1st, as I mean LSU did against Oregon. So that should be a very fun game.
So this ranking has 4 Big Ten teams between 9 and 17. So they're basically saying that conference is wide open.
Right. No, very fair, very fair. And here's this, not quite the highest ranked. Now a Big 12 team, Jalen had some great talent in this West Virginia squad. They also came from the Big East. Their quarterback, Geno Smith.
Love him.
Great player. He lit our secondary up for, I don't even remember the numbers, but you don't do that. And he did. And so I expect big things for them in their first year in the Big 12. I'm not sure their actual schedule, who they have home and away, but because they are coming a little further from their home field than other teams will in that conference. But teams will have to travel to them as well. Mm-hmm. So it goes both ways. Florida State at 7. Will they finally match their hype in any season? They've recruited as well as any team has apparently in the past few seasons, and it is starting to show. Apparently they have the deepest receiving core in the country. I do like their young quarterback. His name eludes me, but he played well in their bowl game, I believe, and they only have to leave Florida 3 times. So that's a big deal. That means they have a very favorable schedule. So I suspect they'll make some noise again this year. They made some noise last year, so we'll see how that works. Oklahoma Sooners, Landry Jones, who for my money is the most overrated player in college football, but an important note on this Oklahoma team, Bob Stoops was able to hire his brother Mike Stoops as the defensive coordinator, and I think that was a great move. Mike Stoops didn't get enough time at Arizona because you need more than what he was given to turn around a program like that. But he's back with his brother, no pressure, run a defense that's got talent at every position, and as well as backups at every position. So they'll be intriguing. They'll be up there in the end as well as they always are. So we'll see what they do. And in the top 5, Georgia. I think Georgia's here just because of their record. Just because of their schedule. Sorry. They don't have to play Alabama, Arkansas, or LSU, which is
How'd that happen?
right. It's they think they played. Well, they didn't have to play them last
The
year
conference
either.
is too damn big. That's the problem.
Right. Well, now we have 12 teams. I guess we have 14 now.
Yeah.
Is it 12?
14.
Is it 14 now?
Yep.
With the Missouri and A&M additions, I think that's why they're this high. And they do have a talented quarterback. He's a bit of a bitch, but he cries more than you Wade and chosen one, Aaron Murray. But
That's possible.
Watch a game. It's damn near unwatchable.
That schedule doesn't look bad at all. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Buffalo at Missouri,
When
Florida Atlantic,
when
Vanderbilt, Tennessee, at South Carolina.
tough.
Off week. They'll win that. At Kentucky,
We'll see.
Florida, Ole Miss.
Do they play on the road other than
At
South
Auburn.
Carolina? Okay.
They were at Kentucky. They were at Auburn. Home against Georgia Southern and Georgia Tech.
Wow.
Wow, that is a
That
weak
does not
schedule.
sound like an SEC schedule to me.
No. That's why I think like I said, they're in the top 5. And they were recently ranked number 1 to start the season because of their schedule, and still couldn't. When Matt Stafford was there, and still couldn't overcome. They had a lot of injuries that year.
Yeah.
So
Most of these big conference teams actually do play like 65% of their games at home.
but they do. You're right.
'Cause
There's
they-
7 or 8 at least at home.
They like pay the crap teams
Right, to come to them.
Come to them and get
Other
the
than my Tigers who go, we go everywhere.
well, yeah.
No.
Alabama's good at that too. Saban doesn't scare away either. But you need that one statement road win. Well, maybe not as an SEC
If you're trying to get
school.
ranked, yeah.
Right.
But this year LSU hosts North Texas.
Yeah.
Washington.
And
Idaho.
No, this is nice. This season last year.
And Towson.
Last year was brutal. So this year we have it. But Washington was in this list, and
Got to go to A&M.
we went to
October
Washington.
20th.
Yeah, it's a home game for me and us.
You'll learn to really hate their little fight song.
Learn to. I've learned. Holly Paloop. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
No, I'm well aware of the. Yeah, I won't. We have some A&M listeners, so I'll leave it at that. For playing to our audience. Number 4, Oregon. I don't get this. They lost everybody.
Yeah.
But their non-conference is easier. Arkansas State, Fresno State, Tennessee Tech. So
Good
that's other than the LSU's and what the world they played a year ago, but still lost their quarterback. They'll be fine at running back. I always thought LaMichael James, whatever his name is.
Well, Barner's like a clone of him.
Exactly. He's better. He's faster, if you can believe that.
Yeah.
So they'll be fine there. I don't like the gimmick coaching, but in college, you can pull that off.
I guess they don't have a tough game till week 11 at USC.
Right, and they'll probably be 10-0 going into that, and then bring out the mob because they're going to get housed.
They'll be 8-0. They got 2 off.
Oh, so it's okay.
So, yeah,
There you go.
Week 11, but yeah.
Fair enough.
Ninth game.
And then Alabama at 3, all right, and then USC at 2.
Whoa! What? I totally missed that one. What was that?
Oh, it was the Crimson Tide at 3. They lost some talent on defense, but they'll be good. They're going to try to implement a downfield passing game. Good luck with that.
What was that?
Right. That's something that they don't have the skilled players to do. But we'll see. And as I said, USC at 2. 19 starters coming back, including the biggest, and Matt Barkley. And they have some young receivers that are really good, and Marcus Lee and Robert Wood. So look for them to hang around for a while and then flame out, as they have in the past. And then your number 1 ranked team, number 1 in my heart, because my degree hangs on the wall, LSU Tigers. If we can get any consistency at quarterback, which we seem to have found in Zach Mettenberger, a Georgia transfer, we should be all right. Our defense comes back a lot, fairly intact.
He's transferred from Georgia?
I believe so. We got kicked out of Georgia, and then
Okay.
he was transferred. He groped a woman in a bar, allegedly. But Spencer Ware and
Was
Michael.
she hot?
I hope. Well, I mean, it was Georgia, so I'm sure.
Yeah.
I mean, that LSU and Ole Miss are top 3 of scenery in the conference and possibly the nation, outside of surprisingly anybody in the Pac-12. But Spencer Ware and Michael Ford come back. Schedule's easier, as you alluded to. We start at 1. I'm not sure where we'll end up, but I think when the AP poll comes out, it'll be USC that's actually a topic, just because that's usually how it works. That's fine. I don't want that tag.
Yeah, they play Stanford early, September 15th. They're at Stanford, USC. Is.
Really? That's very early.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem normal.
Yeah, they're playing. Well, let's see. They got Notre Dame in the last game of the season, so
That's pretty standard. That's pretty standard. Or that UCLA.
That's always a late.
Yeah.
UCLA's the week before that.
I don't remember them diving into the conference that early.
Yeah.
But so that's the top 11 list and the 25 list variety.
Top 11 plus 14.
Right. And I just wanted to
Bonus.
get hash that out just because LSU was first. And but for the Twitter segment this week, I was reconsidering the Sheik tweets, but a couple of the 7 said that they really enjoy it because they're not on the Twitter, and this is the only exposure to the Sheik tweets that they get. So it's a limited. It's a bit of it's a smaller list this week, but he came up with even another penis reference. So we'll do the Sheik tweets again this week, and there's a couple others that are relevant to some stuff for us and also the 7 listeners. So we'll get into the tweets. The Iron Sheik. We'll start with his because they're always powerful. The Cyndi Lauper tried to have sex with me in 1983. I tell her I know, which is N-O, not K-N-O-W, because she looked like Pumpkin Face. Still, I love her, but don't F her. So he loves the Cyndi Lauper, but he doesn't want to bang the Cyndi Lauper.
I think Pumpkinhead was a horror movie.
Is it? Because, he comes up with some stuff,
yeah,
man.
that's again, pretty obscure.
Yeah.
But, I don't
the
recall
Krusty Krab pizza and... I feel like we just learned from him, really.
Yeah.
I mean, we're evolving. It's of the, SpongeBob SquarePants variety, but, And this one I think we all would like to know. Battier White or the Black Brother? I don't know and don't give an F. But still tell me or go F yourself. So he doesn't want to know, but if you don't tell him, you can go F yourself. So I think he kind of does want to know.
Yeah. He definitely sees, non-involvement as, or abstention as, go fuck yourself.
Right. Yeah.
I don't like you.
Battier White or the Black? Art? Maybe Mom White? Dad Black? Something like that?
I think it's one of those.
Is it mulatto variety?
Yeah, I think that's what's going on.
Creole, as we say down in the 51st. He also he tweets on Durant. Durant need to train hard like the Kurt Angle to be world champion. So that's wrestling, right?
Yes.
Was Kurt Angle did he ever get the wrestling champion?
Oh yeah.
No MILF yet.
In '96, he won the Olympics.
Oh, so actual wrestling,
Yeah,
like
and
the real variety.
Then he went
Freestyle
Okay.
or Greco-Roman?
Right. One of them is like buck naked and then with clothes on.
Well, it used
right?
to be,
the
yeah.
full on gay and then the.
the
I don't think it's
semi.
that way to do it.
Oh, okay.
I don't think they make you wear clothes, but
Oh, okay. But that's probably a good idea.
At least
That's
a kimono or something.
there you go.
And this one's
Cover up, man.
this is a good one. It didn't come to fruition, but I still love it. Tonight I drink cold beer with family and watch the Kevin's Durant, like he's in possession of Durant. Kevin's Durant, F someone's ass. So it didn't. He may have still done that night, but maybe not in the court so much.
Probably not. Yeah.
And the last from the Sheik, This is the new penis reference. Hulk Hogan and Mel Gibson, dick smaller than the golf tee. So
that is
the golf tee's the new one.
That is an evocative image.
Yeah.
We still need to have it
But I think
tiered
it's-
out. We still need to
Right.
know.
But I think the golf tee's more a girth thing. You know, maybe not a length, because the golf tee's really skinny. You know, maybe I don't know. Because the Gremlin Richard, I can see being pretty small. Poor guy, poor Gizmo. But so, and the rest of them are more things that are relevant to, like I said, the listeners and some to us. The Dynamo tweeted that Tally Hall set a new franchise record for consecutive starts by a keeper last weekend against Dallas. 47th straight. I would have thought,
Onstad.
would have that. So that was interesting to me. But he missed some games.
Was he old enough that
Injury.
they would spell him occasionally?
I think so. And I think that's the only reason.
Yeah.
So that was interesting for me. They hadn't stopped many goals since that start, but not all has been his fault.
7 in the last 2 games.
Right. So, yeah. So an interesting tidbit from the Tom's Picayune, Jeff Duncan tweeting, with about $30 million in cap savings, could the Hornets possibly make a run at point guard Darren Williams in free agency? Mm-hmm. And this talk of us trying to bring Chris Paul back, which I teased last week, but we do have the cap room, but Darren Williams isn't going to come to New Orleans, even with the first pick, 10th pick, and it seems like Eric Gordon has no choice but to probably stay in New Orleans because we can match any deal, and with this cap room, I assume we will. Mm-hmm. And K Feezy on Twitter, which is Kevin Falk for Louisiana people and Patriots people.
Got the
And this is also an LSU reference. He wanted to send a huge congrats to his cuz, Trev Falk, who was named Northside High head football coach. God is definitely good. Stay blessed, cuz. And we know Trev Falk. LSU also, he played in the NFL. He should have had a better career than he did, but very intelligent guy. I'm glad that I'm guessing that's the north side in Louisiana, which is actually the North Shore. I'll have to make sure because there's probably north sides all over the place. But he is from Louisiana, so we'll see. Richard Justice, who was a Chronicle guy, now MLB.com, tweeted when Romney and then this is a question I'm going to have for you because it doesn't make sense to me and it probably will for you. When Romney and Obama debate, I look forward to hearing their plan for getting the University of Texas a new baseball coach.
Oh,
is Angus? What's his name?
You mean Augie Garrido?
Augie. He's not there anymore, is he?
No. They got some other guy, and I don't know who it is. And
I don't get the reference either.
I guess Texas underachieved this year, and so maybe he's.
I didn't know if there was some kind of
seeing that as a great challenge for the nation that Texas actually gets a decent coach, but I haven't heard.
No, I don't think that's it. No, that can't be it. But
it might be it.
No, Chris, I'm gonna butcher his name, but Chris D'Elia, he's on the Whitney show that I watch. He's actually a really funny comic. And this is a great point he tweets. This is the final tweet. If you are a male model, you are a female model. And I agree. Just thought that was worth mentioning because, yes, seems very true. It's very obvious. So that's the Twitter segment. We got the new penis reference as the golf tee. And Kevin possessing Durant and then effing someone's ass. So
again,
right? The chic is always top notch, and it's better in small. 6 or so of his best, and I pulled those. I'm not sure how often he's going to tweet now with the NBA kind of on hiatus.
Oh, I'm sorry, Garrido is still the head coach.
Is he?
Yeah.
Angus Garrido.
Yeah, let's call him that. Angus. He's kind of Scotch Italian.
Yeah, he's a douche.
Yeah, overall they were 30 and 22 this year. That's pretty pretty middling for them.
Yeah. But A&M's coming to the SEC, so that'll help. Yeah. They're usually pretty good in baseball.
Yeah, they had a good team this year.
And that's more than I wanted to do on Texas baseball. But
well,
there it is. We're good. That should have been the 51 second segment.
Gee, thanks.
Well, you have to look at that record, so you're clearly paying attention.
Right, yeah.
But your favorite segment, our favorite segment, the 7 at Home's favorite segment. Don't cheat. I don't think
What?
good.
Oh, okay.
The Stumps the Fawn segment.
All right.
We need music for this, but we'll get on that. And again, I have several options, so don't.
Oh, okay.
We'll go through all of them
All right.
in the hopes that I stump you on one.
You probably will.
I won last week because
I wasn't here.
no, I still won.
Yeah, I heard that.
Right, yeah.
I tried.
So this week we have baseball of the MLB variety, boxing because there's been some controversy there, college football because we spoke on that, and the NBA because I guess that's all I have there.
For reasons.
Right. I don't
Previously
want to.
stated.
I don't want to rehash.
All right, let's go NBA. That's
NBA.
fresher in my mind.
Okay. So the Forbes released the top 100 athletes.
You mean in terms of
Income, right? The
income?
richest
Oh, okay.
athletes,
Yeah,
right?
it's like
Forbes, yeah.
Forbes ranking by
Right.
skill. Oh, yeah.
So, in no relation to that, what is
So, true.
what did right? What did Forbes? Who did Forbes list as the least valuable NBA franchise?
Oh, least valuable NBA franchise.
Because I think the most valuable is probably obvious. Well, not obvious, but
There's some usual suspects there.
Right.
But the least valuable NBA franchise. Let's see, a team with
no value.
no value or negative value or.
There's like 10 of those. But
Yeah. Let's see. Underwater, no fan base. How about the Bucks?
Wow,
that was my guess.
that is correct.
That would have been my guess.
That is correct.
Yep.
At $268 million. And I think Golden State would have been lower, but they were just recently overpaid for.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they kind of jumped up to 8th.
Their owner had been trying to flush the team
Right.
down the toilet, but
And it was doing a good job.
Yeah,
Yes,
oh,
man.
yeah.
So, no, that is correct. So, what do you, the most valuable?
most valuable. It's got to be the Lakers.
It is the Lakers.
Yeah.
That is correct. And then the poor Clippers come in at 20
That's right.
of the same city. So, no, again, we'll go till I stump him or he wins.
All right, let's do MLB.
Major League Baseball. So this one, the R.A. Dickey fella,
Yeah, the knuckleballer who's
He's doing
actually
the-
winning games. And,
right? He threw 2 consecutive one-hitters.
Yes.
And then he probably knew the guy who also, the American League guy,
Who had done that?
who did it as well in
Ooh.
1988.
In '88. Well, then that would probably be.
I've never heard of him, but that doesn't mean anything.
Okay, so I'll trash my first guess
I don't-
because you definitely would have heard of him.
Right.
88. Somebody who fell off the radar.
And then there was a National League guy who in 1944 did it, but he did a one-hitter and a no-hitter.
Was that? God, what was his name? Vaughn.
No.
Yeah.
But he's a Boston Brave,
Oh, okay.
1944.
44 Boston Brave. That's during the war too, so a lot of the best players were like actually in the service.
Like,
was
so
a-
that was when, what's the hitter for?
Ted Williams was
Yeah,
in the service.
yeah,
I think,
yeah.
I think DiMaggio was too.
So there's a,
The '88 pitcher. Oh man, was that like Juan Guzman? No.
did I tell you who he played for?
No.
Toronto.
Toronto. Okay, Juan Guzman did play for Toronto, but
I might have told you. I don't know. I might have
did, we
said.
did we just both forget that?
I probably didn't.
Toronto, obviously not Clemens. He wasn't there yet anyway. Dave Stieb.
That is correct.
Oh, okay.
Dave Steve for the Toronto, I guess it's still the Blue Jays, 88.
Yep.
So now there was a National League Boston Braves pitcher, 1944. One hitter and no hitter back to back.
So it wasn't Vaughn.
basic. Well, I'd say basic name, but
Tommy somebody?
nope.
No.
But the TO is good.
Oh. T.O. Terrell Owens?
No. You'll see why when I.
I don't think I know it. No, you got me there. No, that's actually correct. You got me there.
Jim Tobin.
Jim Tobin. Okay.
So TO.
Yeah.
Then
That name rings a bell.
Does it?
He was a
never heard of him.
he was a good hitter too.
Was he?
I think he hit 3 home runs in a game once.
Huh.
So.
Okay. So we have.
But follow up question to that.
I don't know.
One player in history once threw
Nolan Ryan.
back-to-back no hitters.
Nolan Ryan.
No, it was back in the 30s.
Ruth. That's not a.
Johnny Vandermeer was his name.
But been a lot of Vandermeers around.
Yeah.
I missed it. It's not Stop Harold. That's too eezy.
But you had backpack no
Right.
hitters, so I'm like, I have to mention the back-to-back no hitters.
No.
How often's that going to happen?
No, I mean that's no. I mean I get it, but
Oh my God! Who the hell
so
his descendants, because I think he's dead.
no, I doubt he's gone.
Yeah.
And so boxing, college football,
Boxing.
Boxing?
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah.
This you've heard of this Mike Tyson show on Broadway?
No.
Mike Tyson, Undisputed Truth. He wrote this, which I didn't think he could write or read, with his wife Kiki, which makes more sense than him writing her.
He's
writing
married, he's married again?
Yeah, I don't know. Broadway show. Who's directing it? Nothing to do with boxing.
Man,
Nothing to do with Mike Tyson.
total misdirection there.
Don't overthink it. You might get it.
Yeah. Who directs Broadway shows?
That's what I'm saying. Don't overthink it.
No, yeah, you're doing too much.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Well,
It's almost like punchline level.
Mel Brooks. That's a pretty punchline.
No.
Broadway directors.
Again,
Blanking. Yeah.
again, it's not
Is it somebody else that does movies?
right.
Yeah. Tyson.
I thought you would have read this, to be honest.
Oh yeah.
There's no one that can match me. My style is impetuous. My defense is impregnable. And I'm just ferocious. I want your heart. I want to eat his children. Praise be to Allah.
Praise be to Allah.
After all of that.
Sure.
I'm not sure if I want to know the undisputed truth, Mike, but
Francis Ford Coppola.
Spike Lee. So you're overthinking it.
Yeah.
And then finally, since we talked about LSU in the college football,
Oh right.
and they did lose the national championship, who's the only team? Yeah, I guess it's kind
So
of.
this is actually about sports then.
This is actually
Yeah,
sports.
no.
The last team to lose the national championship then come back the next year and win it.
Ooh.
And you have to. This is kind of a. Because there really was no official national championship,
right,
so
right.
so you have a window there.
Yeah. To lose the national championship game or to
The game. So basically, since the BCS.
Well, let's see. USC won it and then lost it the next year. So it's not them. It wasn't you guys. Somebody beat me. The youth title is too long ago. Yeah, I'll go with Oklahoma. Damn. Son of a bitch.
Then what are the answers to the next one? But
Oh.
at Florida State, they lost
Florida
the
State.
first one to Tennessee.
Oh, and then
Came
they
back
came
and beat Mike Vick's Virginia Tech
Okay.
Hokies, castrated turkeys, in 2000. And there are two teams that have lost back-to-back years since 1999. And it's
OU is one of those.
and Ohio State's the
Ohio
other.
State.
Both to LSU. That's why it's a great question. So that concludes.
There's a tie-in there.
Yes, that concludes the Stump Stefan segment for the week. And
Mixed results.
yeah, I'm getting better. My record is not so bad anymore. Started like 0-3.
Yeah, too many questions, too many wide ranges.
Right, and what I try to do stuff from the week, or kind of from the show, just so that some of it's relevant, but I don't want. Hey, he might be studying. I don't know. He might ask that this week. And he's not.
What, you think I put time into
That's what I'm
this?
saying. Right. He's not, but it comes across the ticker 17 times.
Yeah.
So I don't want it to be.
So that's why you had Paul Blart Mall Cop on.
Exactly.
This podcast, yeah.
Right, which we're all dumb
Which
for.
should only be watched on mute.
Right. Which we saw a little bit more of it, and maybe not as bad as initially, just because now the expectations are
Yeah.
pretty much null.
Yeah.
So that concludes that segment. Love that segment, especially when I come out somewhat, even if it's down the middle.
Yeah.
And on to the newest segment, the state of the art, which last week we touched on hood films.
Yeah.
Combine that with our top 11.
Oh, I wanted to add, I've seen Fresh twice, and it's good.
Is it?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. It's the way they described it as a 12-year-old drug pusher. That's not quite right.
Maybe he's been doing it 12 years.
He is a 12-year-old.
Okay.
But he's a drug runner. Like, he's involved with the business.
That's
but
different.
Not pushing.
He decides to change his life, basically.
Right.
That's
And
what I can say without.
no surprise,
spoiling.
Samuel L. being in it.
You have to suspend disbelief a few times.
Right.
The things that this kid could make happen, but it's a good movie.
All right, I'll put it in the queue.
Yeah.
But this week, news came about state of the art. News came about that the dog pound will woof again. Arsenio Hall, the only successful black talk show late night. I guess that's the term.
Him versus Magic, right?
Right, only successful late night star. Arsenio Hall will be back on late night television 2 decades after his self-entitled show.
Wow.
Rebuilt the talk genre for a new generation, toastier generation. The 56-year-old comic and recent, you were right, Celebrity Apprentice winner.
That's right.
Yeah.
He's attempting to make a major comeback with a nightly syndicated offering starting September 2013. So it'll be...
So
Yeah, we'll see if that comes to be.
don't hold your breath.
Right. Yeah, no, we got it, Arsenio. It's cool. It's going to happen.
Late night TV. Oh shit, we gotta make some room for you.
Right.
Let's see.
It's supposed to...
Jimmy Fallon sucks ass.
No, he doesn't. But it's supposed to... Well, it's going to be... This is the weird part for me, and maybe y'all can make light of it. But it's going to broadcast at 11 p.m., which I'm guessing if Tribune Company is the major... That's Central Time, I'm thinking.
I guess so.
Yeah, so it's Chicago-based. It would be 11 p.m. on 17 stations, including WGN, and then KTLA TV in Los Angeles. I guess it'll be 11 p.m. everywhere. Is that how that would work? Maybe
Not necessarily, but I think they try to make that work in LA. Because they don't want the late night TV on at 9 o'clock.
Right.
So yeah, I think there's some sort of delay that goes on there.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Because they do it during the day, and then right.
Yeah.
So it states that, and I agree, his status as the only black host, because he's a pretty dark fella. He actually is black. His status is the only black host in late night TV.
What, are we putting shades on this?
Right. Well, yeah, toastier, brown, gave him a special access to rappers and African American entertainers, including Eddie Murphy. Him being in movies with Eddie Murphy gave him access to that.
Yes.
And being successful in those movies. But Art, back late night television, back in the ring. What do you think of Hall's return to late night?
Well, nostalgia is powerful, and so this is for old people. This has to be, right? Because
Like the Celtics making a run?
hey, it helps.
I thought this was about black people, not old people.
Oh no!
It helps. This is about old and black people now.
right.
So even more of a subset because I remember trying to cheat bedtimes to watch this, I remember faking sleep. I remember faking sleep. I remember watching this with low volume, trying to play it off like I'm asleep. But now I just don't know. I don't know if you need something like this. It's good that he's going to come back. It's good that he'll try.
On at least 17 television stations.
Yeah,
Wow,
That's
17.
half the country. He's getting the black treatment. What's up with that?
Yeah, he's getting the black treatment. But the niche isn't there anymore because rappers just go on YouTube and say, I got a new album coming out, y'all. And then they do 12 mixtapes and give away 100 songs, and then that's how you know rappers have albums coming out. So they don't need him for this, and so I don't know who he's going to have on there. That's going to be different.
Right.
I mean, people will come on there, but I don't know what he's going to do. I mean, it's good to see that he should have come back before now because now things are so different. I don't know. I honestly don't know what he's going to do.
Yeah, and I think his recent Celebrity Apprentice gig kind of, let's put this guy back on television.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, Arsenio Hall. What about him?
Yeah. He can still swing his arm around and bark. Get the crowd to do it.
When I was a senior in high school, and yes, dating myself here.
Jeez.
And my high school, our quiz bowl team won the regional championship.
Stump Stefan Quiz Bowl.
Yeah, this is where this started.
Geek
Yeah.
ass man.
Like, but we won.
We're not judging you.
We won the championship
No,
my senior
no.
year, and it's televised on the local NBC station. I did the fist bump into the camera while they were rolling the credits afterwards.
Did you bark?
No.
No, you didn't need
The
the
You were
sound wasn't
butterfly.
on. Yeah, they were like playing some sort of elevator music in the background. So yeah,
And, right, and I remember watching it too. And I don't think he only had black people on it. Right?
No, he had multiple people
He
on
would
there. But
he would get a universal.
yeah, he had multiple
spectrum
people on
of-
there.
yeah.
But he had the squirrely, how, like, these people would normally not be on a show like that, people.
Or
too.
and maybe they went to him first before
Yeah.
he did Leno, or well, I guess it was Carson then, but or Letterman.
yeah, they're saying that. I mean, Carson was the dominant
Right.
late
Forever.
night guy at the time, and it was a nice change versus Carson, And then Letterman came.
It was
on the scene
it was a darker change.
kind of. Letterman came on the scene and kind of grabbed some of that.
Right.
That energy. I
Well,
suppose.
he's signing a new deal. Well, he'll become the longest running show, I think, at all ever. The
Oh,
Letterman
really?
show.
Yeah.
He's signing a new deal with.
Got to be late night
CBS.
shows. There are soap operas that have run for 40 years.
I agree. I'm not sure how they phrased
Maybe
or how they limit. Said what the variety of show was. But. So
But yeah, I mean, it's good that he's coming back, but I don't know what he's coming back to, and I don't know what he's gonna do.
it's good. I mean, it's like any other format. I think he'll try to recreate what he had before, but not exactly. Maybe modernize it to an extent. It's such a simple format that I'm not sure you need much
Yeah, he's
modernization.
not going
of
to
it.
come out there sipping tea,
Right. Yeah, I'm not saying he's gonna British it,
Yeah.
but no, but yeah. I think it's good. I'm not sure that this isn't the first time they've tried to do this. Obviously, Magic is the magic hour. There's nothing magical about it.
There was stuff that was magical.
Yes,
about
for the
Magic Hour.
wrong reason.
Yeah, but yes, it was magical because it was horrible. It was magical because the sexual harassment that happened on that show was like, it's like, wait a minute, Magic, what are you doing? Like, don't you? Oh, that's right, you don't. That's why you still horn dogging and you're like groping Sheila E in between segments and
Yeah. But that was after his NBA career, right?
yeah.
So with what, 94 or something, I guess.
Might have been 95, 96.
Because I know there was a Chevy Chase failure around that time. Too.
Yes.
Even a bigger failure.
He was even worse.
Right.
Yeah, Magic. I remember Howard Stern saying, "Magic, you got to put me on your show quick before you're canceled." And
Yeah.
he did.
Yeah.
And he was canceled promptly.
Yeah, it was 98.
98.
Magic. I didn't know it was that late.
98 to a month later in 98.
Yeah, it was June to September.
Wow, it lasted that long. I don't think Chevy Chase show lasted more than like 4 or 5 episodes.
And yeah, I think that was early enough that I couldn't appreciate it even.
Yeah, 8 weeks.
Yeah. or 4 or 5 weeks for Chevy. I guess that was a nightly show. I just remember how terrified he looked that first episode. It was awesome.
Yeah, I wouldn't be anywhere else other than the AIDS clinic. But
Yeah.
Which he never had, but we went over that last week. So I figured that was newsworthy, especially like we've now reading it. If it ever happens, we would promise you. I said, it'll happen in 2013 of September, which was when Magic's Hour ended. So same month. But so just touch on that. I thought it was news and note worthy. And on to the Whim of the Week. Stefan and I invited Art, but he was probably cuddled up for the Whim of the Week. Just something that new for us that we've done.
Oh yeah.
We it's last night we went to the rugby match here at BBVA, and it was about what I expected. For the most part, it was interesting enough that the one of the few chances we'll get. I think.
Oh, to see a professional rugby game,
right?
Yeah,
International
definitely.
teams, Italy against our U.S. team, and we learned beforehand that Italy was one of the better teams in the world, and we aren't so much. But we hung in there for the majority of the contest.
Yeah, it wasn't a rout. The final score didn't look so good, but
Was it 30 to 10?
30 to 10. But it was 20 to 10 for a long time. So
Our kicker, who I can only name Tebow because he wore 15, sucked ass. But
he only missed like one, right?
He missed more than that,
Oh.
and he was horrible in gameplay.
Yeah.
We kind of taught ourselves the rules during the game, I think.
Yeah, we did.
As we saw things occurring more than once, we kind of figured it out to an extent. I mean, we'll never care enough to learn the full bevy of rules, but I think they should have passed out some kind of 10 things you need to know about the game.
Yeah.
And they didn't pass out
Yeah, we got
something
nothing.
that said one thing.
Of course, you had a lot of serious rugby fans and rugby players there, so
Did, yeah.
they knew. But
and under 19 team, I think, was in our section.
We were not the only people there who didn't know what was going on for most of the time.
Right. No, I mean that, and
Oh, sorry.
we were able to entertain ourselves enough that, and it was entertaining more so than I think some people might see a soccer game. It's closer to football, in my opinion,
Yeah,
than it is to soccer.
but no blocking. That was the big
You
revelation.
have to stay behind your guys.
Yeah, you cannot block for the guy. So.
Right. So it was fun. I mean, $11. So
Was that all it was?
yeah, because I did the living social deal, and
Yeah.
we I thought our seats were great, to be honest, for $11, and we were in the end zone, which we could see Tebow's continuous misses from the best angles. So
I like how toward the end of the game, maybe after a few beers,
just a few.
You managed to start getting vulgar, And I was
No,
like,
never. I don't do that.
You didn't give a shit about rugby until like
Right.
5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
You're like,
No, I don't get vulgar at sporting events after beers. That's nothing I've ever done. I don't. How dare you
Yeah.
accuse me of doing that?
Okay.
But no, I mean, I thought at some point it was a lull, and I needed to wake people up.
Yeah.
And
I
maybe
was trying to finish all that beer after you and I went independently and
Right.
bought beers for each other.
well, and I knew where you were headed,
They
and
were
I
the
needed
24-ounce variety, too.
right. And I needed to go to the bathroom again, so figured I'd grab because I didn't know when they would stop. It's at Dynamo games. We know it's the 75th minute.
True.
For rugby, I don't know.
No idea.
So
Didn't
I
advertise.
figured we'd load up, and
No. I'd rather have too much beer than not enough.
right, and we drank it while walking
Yeah.
on our way out, and they were less. There was less security there than normal because they were letting people walk out with beers. Which,
Oh, really?
yeah, at Dynamo games they never.
No, they're pretty tough.
Yeah. So that was just a quick thing. It was a cool experience. We've had the roller derby, now the rugby, the last Sunday with the what's his name's passing, Rodney King.
Oh, yeah.
So just quick things that are experiences that kind of happened last minute or in the last couple of days that I mean, y'all might be interested in. I don't know. Just to let y'all know out there, we're not totally lame. So,
Thank goodness.
it's not that we were there for the Rodney King thing. People would live.
I feel much better now.
Right.
Thank you.
Right.
Is
And
that
just to,
official that we're not lame? That's good.
oh no, we're not. I don't know about.
Oh,
I don't-
man.
2 out of 3 ain't bad.
No, we're all. You went clubbing this week, so I can't say that I've done that in years.
There
so.
you go.
Yeah.
Oh. Like to one of the real clubs?
Like a real
like-
club.
like
What's a
Roosevelt or
real?
something like that,
How
or
do you
H?
define a real club?
Yeah.
With bottle service?
All of that.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was pretty,
And
pretty nice.
VIP treatment?
Nice.
Yeah, it was good times. With the lady, of course.
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
We need to get her a persona, but the Mexican's just not good enough.
Yeah.
She's better than that.
Yeah, she is.
So, but
What a relief.
yes, no, that totally does a zero justice. So, and just a quick reminder of the upcoming shows. Next Sunday, we'll dish a little bit on the NBA draft, which I believe is Thursday of this week.
I think so.
Just touch on that a little bit with the Hornets picking first overall and the Rockets blowing another pick.
But it's like 15, right? Yeah,
in a row. No, it's like, but they'll blow it.
No.
But it'll be the 15th pick in a row that they've blown. Talk a little bit on that. Top free agent signings in the NFL. And do a little fantasy tease just because they're starting to release those top 100, top 200, top 300 lists.
Nice.
Talk about that a little bit. And then we get into full-on division mode, NFL mode, starting July 8th through the 26th of August, a division each week. We'll talk about each team, we'll slot them where we think they'll finish, and talk fantasy about each division as well. And then ending on the 2nd of September with our playoff predictions and Super Bowl picks. And then we'll be into the full football, NFL, and college schedule. So each week we'll touch on that. Probably more so of the professional variety
Nice.
than
Nice.
the
We got a
college.
plan.
Yeah. So we have it's in front of us. We know what we have, and I think you guys out there are bigger NFL fans than, let's say, NBA or MLB. Sorry, Kevin. But
I'll get him to talk about baseball somehow. I'll trick him into it.
right. So we'll see. And I might touch on it with the All-Star game coming up. Maybe we'll go over the All-Star teams
There you go.
and snubs and stuff like that. And then going forward of what we think for the second half of the season. Astros will still suck.
They'll suck a little more.
Then the Marlins are at a epic
I'm
losing
gonna say,
streak pace.
I am going to say I called that with the Astros. That they started out around 500. It's like, hey, these guys ain't so fucking bad.
Oops.
And I was like,
They
but
are.
there's no book on those players, so
No.
they're starting to regress toward my expectation.
Yeah, and then there's still only 8 below 500 or something.
More like.
Is it a lot more now? Did they lose
13.
today?
No, I think they won today.
And yesterday, we know they won yesterday.
Yeah, but they're still like 12 below 500. And
That's winning.
yeah,
For their
it's winning a little.
Speaking of winning, anger management, Charlie Sheen's new show
winning.
this Thursday, FX. Full hour this week, I think 8 to 9.
I need to be
Wilford's
involved.
back, which is lovely, and also Louis back on, which is also lovely.
And it's an actual sitcom, right? Like it's based on the movie.
It
Anger
is.
Management.
This week it's an hour, but I think that's just for the first week.
Yeah.
I think it's a normal 30-minute sitcom variety.
I think Charlie needs some structure, So structure with a script and a director. That's good for him.
He was great on.
On 2.5 Men.
Yeah. Now it's 3 men.
Well,
'cause
I'll definitely say that the show is far worse without him.
I second that. But Ashton Kutcher really offers nothing to anything other than punked, and still that was bad. But
Ashton Kutcher gets put down by pizza guys.
on the reg. So
I should be tipping you.
right. And we do a tribute every week. Just quick this week. Paula Abdul turned 50. Still pretty sexy. I wanted to. I'm sure a lot of y'all have noticed that she's had a hell of a career. She started in the '80s as a cheerleader and choreographer for the Lakers, which I'm sure she banged several Laker players as well as other players.
Good for her.
Yeah, no. You gotta
Good for those players.
Right.
hopefully.
No, that's more.
Hopefully not cup
It's
check.
more the point.
No.
But
Right
well,
place, right time, man.
well,
Isn't he in charge now?
at least. But starting there, that you segue that into her choreography talent. Working with
in there.
Working, we had to. Working
That's
with
what she
musicians like Janet Jackson. And then she went on to her own music career, where she landed 6 #1 singles. She was a choreographer on Big, which that piano dancing scene.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
That was her work?
Yes.
Huh.
And The Running Man,
The Running Man?
American Beauty, Jerry Maguire. They would
dancing in The Running Man?
Yeah, there was all kind of dancing. And
Schwarzenegger stops to do a little soft shoe. And
I might need to go back and watch it again just to find that choreography, some dancing. She won a Grammy for Opposites Attract, the Opposites Attract video.
Yes, of course.
Yes.
With, MC Scat Cat.
Yes, who's also, he's like 27 now. If he's becoming his
27
age,
now?
yes. Like that.
Oh, cat years?
Right. No.
Oh.
Cat years, he's dead.
He's 1,000.
Right. But there, and then 2 Emmys, as well as a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Because you bang enough celebrities, you get that star.
And then the 6 #1 singles had nothing to do with that.
No. Her hotness is the only. And then American Idol, obviously, more recently on the X Factor. But, she's forever our girl, straight up, always.
No
Straight
matter
up.
how insane she acts, yes.
Yes, no, and there were some moments.
She's not
that right, that's the problem.
She behaves.
Scratching your head, but on the Idol, and I didn't see any of the X Factor. I guess Dance Like There's No Tomorrow. She also had a reality show, Hey Paula, which lasted about as long as the Magic Hour. So
And received less fanfare.
right.
Far less.
Yeah, I at least watched the Magic Hour. I didn't even know this show existed.
At least there was some sick fascination. With
Right,
Magic
or
Hour.
there was people who viewed it to rate it or critique it.
Right.
But Paula 50, I'd still hit that. There's no doubt about that. And
She's quite the MILF now.
yes,
I'll definitely,
kids, I'm not even sure. So maybe just
yeah, is she...
a choreographer I'd like to bang.
Oh, well. There we go.
Well, once you turn 50, I think you're eligible to apply for the AARP.
Growth? Like your grandmother, I'd like to know.
The American Association of Retired People.
Yes.
You can become a member. And
Well,
no, I don't speak from experience there.
No, I'm not a member. I'm just a user. Yeah.
I'm not just a member. I own the club.
Yes.
I'm gonna go with no children.
Yeah,
Yes,
probably. I never heard of her. I mean, she was married, right?
Yeah.
Emilio Estevez, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
But no
That.
kids. Yeah. That sounds like a celebrity marriage right there.
Yeah, it lasted. It's 2
2
years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But other than that, this is the point where
Freeform.
what you got? Art? I don't.
Oh, what we got? I'm still playing video games and having time in my life, man. I was when I get a chance, it's like I play Mario 3 and I smile through the whole thing, like whistles and flying and all that, all the Mario 3 awesomeness. I got a legit Super Nintendo controller now, so I'm not as horrible as I used to be.
Right.
Come playing like the collection that has all the 3 Marios from the Nintendo and
Right.
some lost Japan Mario. Good
That's
time.
probably awesome.
It's hard.
Well, I'm sure. That's what she said. But.
Yeah, that's what she said. It's like the first one, but way shystier.
The first she or the first game? Oh. The first, okay.
That's what they all said. Anyway. Success rate.
Yes.
But no, that's pretty much what's been going on, man. Not a whole lot.
No ticker news, no LT retiring. That already happened.
Yeah, that happened. Percy Harvin is, I guess he's at practice now. He was just playing about that whole want to be traded thing.
Yeah, I don't.
I guess they're struggling for camp news. They got to get somebody to act the fool, and they got like a list of six people. You made me turn around for that. I'm upset about that.
Not worthy.
Great legs, right?
No.
Nothing was great about it. The dog was cute.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Well, who am I talking about? It could be either the one holding the leash or with the.
Oh, that's just hard. Just because we were wrong, that's not their fault.
Yeah, I had a good time in Colorado last weekend.
Yeah, we touched on that.
Family, yeah. And the worst part of it was I went and saw Prometheus.
That was the worst part.
That was the worst part of it. I'm looking at this thing on IMDb.com and it's getting decent user reviews.
Have you gone to Rotten Tomatoes?
Oh, is it bad on there?
I don't know.
No,
in everything.
IMDb. Yeah, Rotten Tomatoes is generally better at pegging these. I hadn't looked at it on there, but
well, they're harsh all around.
Yeah, IMDb just loves everything. I guess they gave it like a 7.6.
Well,
it's pretty solid.
I hung out with a 14-year-old this week who also said it sucked.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, good.
There you go.
Glad I'm not the only
Yeah.
one. My sister and I were like looking at each other like 45 minutes.
I didn't send Dusky hang out with him.
Oh,
I just,
okay.
I just so it's not.
Y'all just
I don't want people to get the.
Now we're off the rails.
I don't want people to get the.
Make sure you want to just play. 45 out of 48.
I didn't want to get the.
All right. Okay. Good. That's good. All right. Cause
Yeah.
I don't want you to be on that 45 out of 48 list, man.
No.
But I was
no. They dropped all charges. I mean, they weren't charged. I mean, what?
I saw Alien when I was a little too young for it, like 11 or 12, and scared the hell out of me.
Yeah,
and
no, that's fair.
The same director, Ridley Scott, and the only difference is they gave him a shitload more money to make this movie.
Oops.
And he managed to make a quote-unquote thriller with zero suspense.
No, and that's what.
Nothing.
That's what.
I mean, I didn't give a shit
Daniel
about
said
characters.
it's like it wasn't scary at all.
The characters were doing things that just didn't make sense.
Right.
It's like they make this great discovery of this ancient civilization, and they actually get like a body, and bring it back.
Big
to the
old
ship.
blue dude, right? Like with
Right, big old
dark
blue dude,
eyes.
yeah, they like find a head.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, this is
So if
hard evidence of
If
extraterrestrial
y'all
life.
want to see it, then
Yeah.
cut. Stop.
No, I'm spoiling
No,
the
it's
hell out
fine.
of it.
You're
Yeah.
right. Same.
But the head scientist, he's just drinking himself into a stupor because he's so depressed.
Well, Charlize Theron.
He's like,
topless, right?
I was hoping they'd be alive, and I'm like, you dumbass.
Charlize Theron get topless?
No.
Then it's totally worthless. Don't even see it. You can ruin the whole movie. No one cares now.
And and the end of it is not even consistent with the beginning of
That's
it.
what he said.
Yeah.
He said, you don't really see a tie to
There's no tie. I
Right.
mean, the big blue guy that they found
because they created us,
at the
right?
beginning. Yeah, that's.
But
the
we
premise.
seem to be much simpler, much smaller beings than they were.
and less buff.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, yes.
So we're like the junior varsity of this
At
species,
best,
Yeah. And so they tried to be all mysterious about it, leaving the unanswered questions. The android,
I
he
thought
like
the
speaks
point
the
of this was to
alien
answer the
language.
questions.
Right? Yeah. They're trying to stir up more interest, and I'm happy to say it's not really working because this movie, which cost like $200 million to make, it's getting outdrawn by Madagascar 3.
Like,
That was a good movie.
They're taking the cake.
Yeah,
I don't know why he
Purchasing
saw
Power
it.
of Kids. Yeah, but this new one that just came out, Brave, is about the chick.
The redhead.
the
She's hot for a
Robin Hood.
cartoon chick. I mean,
You haven't
she's
seen
fierce.
some anime.
Oh.
Yeah, Brave pulled in
Plead the fifth.
$66.7 million this weekend, and Prometheus is down to $10 million in week 3. So they're probably not going to make their money back. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I feel okay about that.
no, and then again, if the 14-year-old says it wasn't scary, and I understand maybe it not making any sense, but he's a smart kid.
Yeah.
And he said there was no tie to aliens. He said that there was the big blue being with the dark eyes looked nothing like humans for the most part. And why would they create us? And then their goal was to come back and kill us.
Yes.
Yeah. So to destroy what they.
Yeah.
And Charlize.
That's why there's this whole suicide mission at the end to keep them from coming back and killing us. And,
Oh,
yeah,
Charlize dies. It's always bad.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
odd.
Yeah.
You know what you're doing is cleanse?
Yeah, start tomorrow.
Are you doing it like raw style, like making everything fresh?
Well, no,
Or
now
you
they
bought
they sell the stuff, so I'm gonna see if that's worth it.
Report on that.
Yeah, no, it takes a lot of the work out.
Cause there's a 7-day thing that I got from GNC, but I don't know whether I'm gonna do that one or not. Like you you eat during that one though.
Yeah.
So
I just like the mental part of just zoning out, and it squashes my immediate cravings down the line for that year. Like I know when I'm itching to do it again, and when I need to do it again, it's because I just start craving everything, and then I go eat it, and so I won't be as rude or outspoken and vulgar on next week's podcast because I'll be sober. So I'm not tired, just sober.
Don't worry, I'll drink your beer.
Maybe I'm right.
Yeah.
No, I'm never worried about that.
Yeah.
But
you've been very unvulgar. I think it's like we're holding the vulgar for football.
Well, and I think that'll be a more passionate. So it'll be a challenge for me. Yes, going forward when football season starts to keep the FUCK to F and
The MF.
Dick to Richard and MF and stuff like that. But I do want. I'm not curving. I'm not trying to curve anyone else's approach to this, but there's certain people that think I'm a decent human being, and I'm oops, and I want to keep those certain people that listen with that ideology of me. So.
Just because you cuss doesn't mean you're not.
No, I agree, but so
Yeah.
that's been my approach.
Well, at least
that's where you're coming from.
Right.
At least we're doing these podcasts. At least we're not doing them live after events, because I was the wrong person to talk to Thursday night for sure. Because I was loud talking and cussing at the house by myself watching that game.
So was Harold.
I was done. I was done with so many people. So, that's good. So Sundays we're gonna be doing these football ones. They're gonna be fresh after.
So
the
trying to
game.
figure out if it'll be Sunday, Monday, or because
If we're doing them fresh,
I want us to pick games too.
Yeah.
For the week going forward, but we might just do like at a glance, like I said yesterday, picking, and then post a more educated, more sober pick later in the week and just post those.
Well, we need to have the stats.
Or
out
we
for
just
which
do
ones
it-
are better or worse.
Or we just do it Thursday night or something,
Yeah.
or maybe Wednesday night since we have trivia on Thursday,
Right.
and just rehash the week and then look forward to like inside the NFL style kind of. So
Sundays. I mean, our
I don't think we
NFL
could-
Sundays were by this time of day we've had a few.
That and we've had sake. We've had
A few more than that.
I mean, we're
we've gotten a
epically
happy hour at
right.
Azake. Yeah.
Right, we're epically drinking at that point, so I'm not sure we could offer much at that point.
Yeah, would that be good or bad?
We're selling ourselves.
It might be magical, and I think we will do it the first week,
Just to see.
and also do a Wednesday, or midweek.
Podcasting could be kind of like playing pool for me. Like I'm bad if I don't have any beer. And I get better, but then there's a certain peak.
Or bowling.
Or bowling too. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh wow.
There's a
Yeah.
peak, so if I
Yeah,
have too
that's
much,
that.
I think I'd get worse at it. So, we'd have to be careful of that.
Right, and we'll try both up, I think,
Yeah.
and maybe do both, and maybe y'all only hear one of them from each week. So
Oh, we're gonna have outtakes. That's gonna be great.
right, no, I mean we
You just gotta save them. That's all.
Right. So
Let me give one more shout out. Well, actually, no, two. Kevin Youkilis just got traded.
Did he?
By the Red Sox to the White Sox. So, saying
I
sayonara.
knew that they were like, we need to trade him ASAP.
Sayonara to him. Yeah, he started off slow this year. He was battling some injuries, and they got a guy in AAA whose name I forget. Who's coming up? Who's apparently
First base,
a
right?
perfect replacement. Yeah, third base, first base
Yeah.
is what he plays.
He's the one who
But,
bats funny.
Yeah, he holds
Yeah.
the bat funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was part of both World Series winning teams. So,
No, he was a
gotta
captain,
give
wasn't
him- No, he was pretty young.
No, but he's captain. He's
Now?
captain
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
He has been.
If he's not the captain, then he's the leader. I know Veritek was the captain for a long time.
The catcher. That sounds
Catcher,
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
But he's gone, and my favorite quote about him, they called him the Greek god of walks when he was in college. 'Cause
From
he could,
USC. I'm
oh,
just guessing.
shit, I don't know.
Yeah.
But because he was so good at taking walks,
Right.
and he's Euclid, it's a Greek name, so it fits.
No.
But I remember Francona, when he was managing the team, saying, "I've seen him in the shower, and he's not the Greek god of anything."
Frank Conan nails it again.
Yes.
Well, I've seen you with a towel, and you're not the Greek god of anything
Yeah,
either.
Francona's probably in better shape than Euclid. So.
Well, Yeah, but still not Greek god-like.
Yeah, but my other shout out is to Alex Trebek.
Dead?
Mild heart attack.
60. No.
Mild heart attack yesterday. He's 71. He's older than Stern, but he's apparently okay.
Woo!
So
I need it in the form of a question. In the form of a question. I need that.
if he says that to the doctor,
Right.
Yeah. What is? Am I still alive?
What is
Jeopardy, no, that makes sense. I don't know if I have that on the soundboard, but. And then Euro Cup, real quick, down to 4.
Yep.
Germany will play Italy on Thursday, and I'm guessing that means Poland, Spain Wednesday. So, good football played over the last 2 or 3 weeks, and we'll get Final 4. I think these are the best 4 teams. So, touch on that real quick. That's it. That was the real quick, just because it's baseball. I'm not sure.
Touched.
That was for you, Corey. Listen. College World Series is also in the finals, best of 3 between South Carolina and Arizona. South Carolina looking to win, I think they're third in a row.
Yeah.
It's like LSU style, but always SEC. We win everything. So shout out to the SEC as well. We win it all: track, basketball, baseball, football. Come on, some other conference give us something. Like we
don't need any references there.
Our biggest competition
We
are
can just say
ourselves, and we know it. So I think that pretty much
Take
wraps it
your
up.
data and shove it.
We're nearing our 2-hour mark. Is that it? No more?
That's about all I got.
Yeah, I'm good.
So, North Estate Studios, Harold, Stefan, and Art.
Yep.
Closing it out. Good evening.
You got a song
Last
this
week you hugged your fathers. This week maybe hug your mom, bang your wife, do whatever.
Yeah, well.
Your wife.
Right, yours.
Your wife.
Curl up with
Wife.
somebody, cuddle up. Just you don't need to make love in the sense of. I'm just done here. We'll play out with Mrs. 50.
I'm interested
Good
in what
night,
the
y'all.
song's gonna be.
There's a meaning behind this. Ain't never gonna give you up. My thunder. Ain't never gonna give you up.
Throwing it.
Night, y'all. Paula, sing us out. Dance us out. Just be sexy on your way out.
Way to play her 200 best known song.
This is the least amount of clothes she's worn in the video. You hit it, OKC?
What about Promise of a New Day? She was pretty naked in that one.
I started with the Keanu Reeves one. That's my favorite. But just had a...
What, the Rush song?
Oh, you love that song.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Keanu Reeves makes everything better, of course.
Clearly. High notes.
Jimmy Fallon does suck, by the way. I'm standing by that.
False. He's funny.
You're not issuing a correction on that next week. But yeah.
He's the shit. Glenn Frey's on this one. Fraud.
There you go.
Oh. Don't try to put him on stuff he's not on. You get us sued. You know the Eagles don't play.
Good music? Oh. Woo!